So, today was a big thing. Like, I normally don't take Mondays as like a big drop for news, but we got some random ass news, some of which I'm not going to talk about, and some I am. One I'm going to talk about definitely in a different video because that'll be a whole thing. But let's like look through that real quick. We had after the day after I had talked about how Deadpool 3 was getting interesting, we got our first look at Hugh Jackman in the blue and yellow Wolverine costume. We've been waiting for over 20 years for. Very excited for that. Then you had you had fucking the trailer for Napoleon, which was I like it's a Ridley Scott movie, and those these days can be very hit and miss. And I know what you're thinking. What about The Martian? I think that was more dependent on the script than Scott. Remember, I don't know. We don't. The problem is these days you never know what kind of Ridley Scott you're gonna get. You might get The Martian Ridley Scott, or The Gladiator Ridley Scott, or there's a chance you might get Alien Covenant Ridley Scott. And I always fear that we get that one more than anything else. And then we got this announcement. Out of nowhere, there was an announcement for a new Black Panther game, which I am very excited about. Now, I will say that that it does kind of add on to the multiple Marvel game announcements that we've been having as of late, ranging from Wolverine, we've had Iron Man, and now Black Panther. And they're all apparently in the same universe, like the Avengers game. And this kind of confirms it because it's the same costume that T'Challa wore in the Marvel Avengers game. I think that's the idea, is that they want to have like a whole a whole shared universe in the Marvel for these Marvel games. I think that just kind of plays with it. But again, it does do the whole thing of we have another game, it's an announcement, and maybe some screenshots, but there's nothing really to go on as of yet. You're going to have to wait a few more years. It was the same thing with Wolverine. Looks like it's going to be the same thing with Iron Man. Looks like with this. But am I excited for a Black Panther game? Multiple reasons why. But yes, I am excited for this. First and foremost, this is going to be a solo action-adventure game. This is going to be a solo action-adventure game and will be open world. And I'm very excited for this because this isn't going to be like Spider-Man where it's New York, it's a notable place. There are places in New York where you could be like, oh, I know where that is. If you're from New York or you know of New York, you're like, oh, I know where that place is. Or I can be like, oh, I know where that is. It's Wakanda. It's like the whole map is open world Wakanda, and I'm very excited. And that's really cool of having an open world of a world that lends itself to being open world of a place that we've never been before. I really like the idea of doing that. I really like the idea of Wakanda being an open world kind of map, and to see what you could do with that would be amazing. Now, we don't know the story. We really don't know the story. We don't know who is playing. We don't even know the voices. All we really know is that this game is coming out in some capacity. We do know this game is coming out. It is under EA, which is another kind of moment. It really does whenever EA gets involved, really, when EA gets involved, I can't help but go ugh, because 9 times out of 10 there's going to be loot boxes, there's going to be DLC you got to pay for more to get the whole game. It's really starting to get with video games these days that video games in this day and age is really becoming more and more corporate driven, and it's becoming very obvious that I try not to point fingers at the people making the games. I really don't. I think it's more like these projects are really pushed by I'm more mad at the studio and the executives who are just kind of driving these games and just wanting an unfinished product out there, and they wonder why sales are so bad half the damn time. And that's what I'm afraid this is what it's going to be. But for right now, let's focus on. There are channels that tell that kind of give those thoughts better than I ever could. So go check out. There's a multitude of YouTube channels that can do that. Let's focus on the here and now, like the idea of a Black Panther game. This is a very fascinating world. Like I said, Wakanda is a fascinating world that opens itself up to world building and world exploring. I'm wondering what we'll see. I'm wondering if, like, I think would be a really cool game mechanic is if you could switch between T'Challa and Suri. Like, Suri using her sonic mitts or her sonic gloves or something like that. Or you could switch to Okoye, because I know these characters are going to be in the game. So I think that would be really cool. I also... oh yeah, the other game we're getting is a Black Panther Captain America game. I forgot about that. So maybe this will tie into that. Because that game is going to follow T'Challa's grandfather teaming up with Steve Rogers. So maybe that will... And since this is all in the same continuity, maybe this will play into that. We don't know. As for other characters I would love to see in the game, let's talk about villains. Like, let's talk about, like, what villains could we get in the game. Obviously, Killmonger's probably going to be in here, as is Claw. Claw and Killmonger are probably going to be in here, and I'm really hoping they give Claw the Sonic gun, like the Sonic hand. I'm hoping we get Sonic Claw. Claw. I know I just said that. I just repeated myself, but yeah. Would love to see, like, that version of Claw rather than Arms Dealer Claw. I would love to see, like... I'm wondering, are we going to get M'Baku in here as a villain, or is he going to be is he going to be, like, on T'Challa's side, like, in the movies? Because they do take a lot from... They do take some from the movies, too. It could be both. Maybe he starts out in, like, the Man-Ape costume, you beat him, and then he switches sides. Who knows? Personally, I would love to see, like, others like Moses Magnum. He's another one of those Black Panther villains I always enjoy seeing, because he's not like attacking T'Challa like for country. He's more like for doing this for like business and using like corporate greed to shield himself from T'Challa. And I'm surprised we don't use a lot of him these days. Anyway, so Moses Magnum would be cool in here. I would absolutely love to have as the big villain. Here's my pitch for who I would pick for the big villain. My pick for the big villain of this game would be White Wolf. And for those wondering, but that's Bucky. Nope, that's movies. White Wolf is a adopted brother of T'Challa who was in charge of the Wakandan secret police, but he got too extreme and is now, like, obsessed with toppling governments. Is also, you know, killing people in the name of the true Wakanda. For the longest time, he was kind of considered, like, T'Challa's arch nemesis. So I think and they recently used White Wolf as a big villain in the recent Captain America event. So I think it'd be really cool if they played up with that more and had White Wolf as the big villain for this game, rather than, you know, Killmonger for the umpteenth time, or Claw or more aptly put, Claw for the umpteenth time. But yeah, so you guys tell me in the comments below. I am excited for this game. It's just we have another Marvel video game announcement, and we have nothing. We have fuck all to show for it. But yeah, but still exciting. Anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below. What do you guys think of this Black Panther video game announcement? Are you guys excited? Are you guys not? Just comment below. Let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.